Trapu Sisa Loha Rajata Suvarnanam Agni Samyogat Dravatvam Abhihi Samanyam. So up is liquid state, and even solids like lead or silver or gold, they will become liquid if heat is applied. This is what is mentioned. That means he was aware of these three states of matter, and we know how very well this Vaiseshika is the basis for Ayurveda. The drishtanam sparsha ityadrishtalingo vayuhu. Vayu is not visible, but sparsha is the proof of it. So this way the entire debate and discussion on the physical substances goes on. And then I will go to the chapter which is dealing with motions and also other forces. Of course, before that, the existence of mind and the existence of self is proved here. Atmendriyartha sannikarsham jnanasya bhavo abhavasya manaso lingam. The indicative characteristic of mind is existence and the non-existence of knowledge arising in the conjunction of self with senses. When the self is connected with senses, either you know or you don't know. So that process of acquisition of knowledge is the proof of the existence of mind. Pranapana nimishonmesha jivana manogati indriya antaravikaraha sukha dukkha ichha dvesha prayatnaha cha atmano lingani. Whether self exists or not, if the self doesn't exist, there is no observer, there is no observation, there is no knowledge, and the feelings of happiness and sorrow and desires and effort and being alive or being dead, all these characteristics are the proof that self exists. So there is a lot of debate on the objections. The only body exists, self does not exist, that kind of objection, which have been successfully refuted. The objections have been refuted, and the existence of self is proved to be real. Devadatto gacchatyeti upacharad abhimanat tat sharira pratyaksho ahankarha. When you talk of the body, it is different because the body cannot feel happy or sorry, and only the self can feel. Natu sharira visheshad yajnadatteti vishnumitro arjunam jnanam vishaya ahamiti mukhya yogyaya dhyam shabda vat vyatireka abhichavacharad vishesha siddhe na agamikaha. So now finally, vyavasthito nana. In practice, the selves are many. So this is the Vaiseshika position, whereas in the 7th chapter, this is of course the 3rd chapter, in the 7th chapter of Vaiseshika he proves that though in practice selves are many, in reality they are only one. Now we come to the atomic theory in the chapter 4, Sad Akaranavat Nityam. Sat is the final existence in terms of atoms which has no cause and it is eternal, permanent. Tasya karyam lingam. The proof of that are the activities of atoms. Karanabhavat karyabhavaha. Ignorance, that is ignorance of atoms is the cause we are not able to understand them, but if you have the knowledge you will understand. So the atoms are supposed to exist for different dravyas and their combinations. Now we go to chapter 5, which is the chapter on motion. Very carefully we can understand. He was aware of laws of motion. Atma samyoga prayatna bhyam haste karma. Motion in hand comes by the conjunction of the self with effort. Atma samyoga prayatna bhyam haste karma. And suppose there is a stone like this. Let us say this is a stone and the hand is going to hit the stone. So tadha hasta samyogacha musale karma. So motion in the stone is also coming due to hasta samyoga. And abhighata je musalado karmani vyatireka akaranam hasta samyoga. Now abhighatad musala samyogad haste karma. In this abhighata, though the stone is moving, he is also saying the hand is also moving as reaction. After hitting, the hand will go a little backward. This will go forward. So he knew the third law, action and opposite reaction. So similarly, samyoga bhave gurutvat patanam. If the stone has no samyoga of any kind, it will fall due to Gurutva. So he knew that Gurutva is a definite force. Yes. So he is also saying immediately, without an existence of a force, there cannot be any motion. That is, if there has to be a motion, nodana abhavat nordhanna tiryak gamanam. Neither upward motion nor downward motion is possible without a force existing. So patanam, which is a downward motion, is requiring that force. Nodana abhavat, nodana visesha abhavat, nordhanna tiryak gamanam. Prayatna, now very interesting. Prayatna viseshat, nodana visesha. If I am applying greater force, greater effort, then greater force. Nodana is force, prayatna is greater effort. Nodana viseshat, udamana visesha. If I am going by greater force, my speed is also greater. What is greater speed? Nothing but acceleration. So acceleration is proportional to force. Force is equal to ma, that is the law of motion of Newton. Special speed or velocity, extra velocity or acceleration is caused due to special force or extra force of higher force. So in this sutra, the author is stating his knowledge of force and acceleration. Special force or greater force causes special speed or greater speed or velocity acceleration. In other words, acceleration is directly proportional to force. So force is proportional to acceleration. Since greater force causes greater acceleration, it is directly proportional and can be expressed as force is proportional to acceleration. Thus we see that the author was familiar with laws of motion. We have shown one law of motion in this sutra, and we have shown another third law of motion in the previous sutra. So we can finally, the author was familiar with force and necessity to cause acceleration or greater speed or velocity, including downward motion or free fall due to Gurutva. He also was aware of a force causing the fall. Since he was aware of acceleration caused by force, in the context of free fall, we can conclude that he was aware of a force behind Gurutva which causes acceleration due to the free fall, that is nothing but acceleration due to gravity. G. We can finally conclude that the author was familiar with Gurutva which causes free fall unless prevented, a force which causes free fall unless prevented, acceleration caused due to force. Summing up all the three, we can state that acceleration due to force causing free fall due to Gurutva was known. The morphological similarity and possible etymological link between the word Gurutva in Sanskrit and gravity in English. The word gravity has been derived from the word Gurutva in Sanskrit through Greek origin. Broadly, the author was aware of the laws of motion. However, it is to be noted that this awareness is expressed in a qualitative, not mathematical. Quantitative treatment is available in other texts, like Bhaskaracharya, they have given equations of planetary motions and so on. So now we have various types of motion being described: explosive motion, tatha dagdhasya vispotane, and sleep motion or vibratory motion, grass blades, trine karma, vayu samyogat, and crystal motion, manigamanam, suchya abhisarpanam, magnetic needle. So he was aware of all the known motions. Motion in crystals, magnetic needles, deflection, adrushtakaritam, unseen force. So he was aware of magnetic force also. Now we'll talk of the ballistic motion. When a arrow is released from a bow, Ishau ayugopat samyoga visesha karmanyatve hetu nodana adhyabhik karma tat karma karita samskarad uttaram karma tadhottarancha. When the arrow is released from the bow, there is an initial motion, and because of that motion there is further motion, and there is a samskara of motion, and samskara bhave gurutvat patanam. When the samskara is exhausted, the arrow will fall down on the ground, free fall. So this is nothing but our ballistic motion. That so-called samskara is nothing but our kinetic energy. So this is what I have interpreted: samskara bhave gurutvat patanam. Upon this cessation of samskara or kinetic energy, there will be free fall. Now motions in solids, chapter 5, part 2. Nodana abhighatat samyukta samyogacha prithivyam karma. Either due to application of force, impact, or due to an explosive combination like gunpowder, there will be motion in solids. And he also talked of the liquid state properties as apam samyoga bhave gurutvat patram. Liquids also, if there is no samyoga, they will fall at free fall due to gravity. Dravatvat syandanam. The liquid motion will be viscous motion due to liquidity. and evaporation. Nadyo vayu samyogad arohanam. And nodana apidanat samyukta samyogacha. The evaporation will take place by removing pressure. Boyle's law. Apidanat. Vrikshabhisarpanamityadrishtagal. The osmotic capillary motion. And condensation or decomposition. Apam sanghato vilayanancha tejas samyogat. Condensation of water due to presence of electricity with hydrogen and oxygen, and decomposition of water by passing electricity. Tatra vispurjatur lingam. Vispur is lightning. And Vaidikancha. In Veda also it is mentioned about the energy. Garbhosya oshadhinam, garbho vanaspatinam, bhutasya vishwasya agne garbho apamasi. O Agni, you are in the garbha of apa, liquid. That's what here is the context. Apam samyogat vibhagacha stanait now. So he knew the electricity is the cause of formation of water in the clouds, and also decomposition of water when you pass it. Prithivvi karma teja karma vayu karma cha vyakhyatam. So he has discussed lightning, and as against the conventional wisdom that Benjamin Franklin first discovered electricity, here is a clear description of lightning causing the formation of water in the clouds. So therefore, in all the basic laws of physics, in kinetics, motion, force, acceleration, all laws of Newton, and also the liquid state properties, evaporation, capillary motion, and electricity, magnetism, all basic classical physics topics have been discussed up to chapter 5.
Sir, actually we didn't expect this much of physics is in Vaiseshika Darshana. We didn't expect. Each and every topic of the physics is explained in Vaiseshika Darshana.
The basics,
Basics.
Without mathematics. Mathematical treatment is given in other books which came later. This is the oldest of the books. In the introduction I have shown it's around 3000 BC. So, and it was the basis for development of Ayurveda itself. Ayurveda is about 3000 BC. So, and is also basis for Shilpa Shastra, the independent engineering discipline. So it is the most fundamental subject, which is the foundation of the entire knowledge of the physical world. So Vaiseshika Darshana and the physics of Vaiseshika Darshana has to be understood by each and every person, and this book is published by the Vedic University in Tirupati.
Thank you very much.